me ask you something. Can your business run without you? Not a day, not a long weekend. Can you walk away and come back without chaos? Let me paint a picture. You're at the beach. The sun's rising, coffee in hand. Your kids are waking up, and you're buried in emails, even on vacation. Everything still runs through you. That was me until it wasn't. If your business can't run without you, you haven't built a business. You've built a dependency machine. And I built one, but over time, I rewired it. Now, my company runs without me in the center, and yours can too. Hi, I'm Trisha Shortino, the CEO of BELAY. We're a 9-figure remote company that's no longer dependent on me to function. And that didn't happen by accident, so let me show you how I built that into the way I lead on purpose. The first shift, I removed myself from the center. I had to stop being the default, the decider, the fixer. We built a pathway for decision-making that didn't involve me by default, but we also made it clear what should still come my way. Anything that affects the budget, that's mine. Big financial adjustments, bring it to me. A major change to a system or a core process, I want my eyes on it. And if it's a people issue, performance, promotion, or anything that impacts our culture, that also escalates to me. We made these thresholds explicit. We wrote them down and we trained to them so the team knows some decisions need to wait for me, but everything else, it's been delegated fully, owned by the right leaders, handled by the right people. And I started asking myself, if I disappeared next week, would this move forward? If not, we had work to do. The first big move for me was our talent team. The truth is, I had hired every single assistant that started with this organization for many years. I loved it, and I knew hiring the best executive assistants was so important to BELAY. I also knew that if I wanted to grow in my leadership and help lead the organization through other areas of the business, I was going to have to replace myself in that role. I was going to have to find somebody else to come in and lead talent team for me. And I did. And that was a really big shift. A hard shift nevertheless, letting go of something that I love doing so much, but one that absolutely freed me up to go run other parts of the organization. I hired a manager in there who not only came in and started hiring amazing executive assistants, but transparently, she created systems and processes and did it in a way that I had not considered, and she got amazing results, and it wound up being a very successful exercise in, number one, me letting go of ownership of a department, but also bringing somebody else in with fresh perspective, fresh eyes, and someone who could own and drive a complete department in a new and refreshing way that exceeded everyone's expectations. Which really leads us to the next shift. Invest in leaders who can own, not just execute. I didn't just need help, I needed ownership. I needed leaders who didn't wait for me to drive. They needed to carry things forward themselves. But that kind of leadership doesn't happen by accident. It starts with trust. And trust, that takes time. It takes relationship capital. And I've built that over years with a team that's evolved as the business has evolved. But here's the truth. If someone can't carry ownership, you feel it and you'll know. It's not always a training issue. Sometimes it's a fit issue. It could be a gap in trust or skill or chemistry. And when that happens, you might need a different person in that seat. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means they're not right for that role. But when you hire the right people and you're aligned, letting go isn't hard. It's responsible. It's what leadership looks like. I stopped rewarding check-ins and I started rewarding ownership. So I made a rule. Don't bring me a problem unless you've already thought through 2 possible solutions. And that one shifted everything. We moved from access to independence, from waiting to leading. And when someone couldn't do that, that was data. I used to feel the need to be inside every marketing initiative, even though I did have a leader who ran the marketing department. I always felt like I needed to contribute. I was obsessed with looking at the data and constantly pressing the team on what our initiatives were, how we were generating leads in business, what events we were going to, and really getting into the details of marketing. And I told myself it's because I loved marketing, and I do love marketing. However, one day I was meeting with a peer of mine, another CEO of an organization about the same size, and we started talking about how we spend our time and how we lead our businesses. And I spoke to him about how involved I was in marketing and how I loved it so much. And he said, that's interesting. I spend very little time involved in those kinds of details inside marketing. It seems like the level of work as a CEO you really shouldn't be worrying yourself about. And I kind of had to sit back and think, gosh, maybe he's right. Why am I spending so much time digging into what's going on in the marketing department? The truth is, after I really spent a lot of time in thought and reflection, is that the leader I had in place had hit her lid. She wasn't doing the things that I was doing, and I needed to replace her with a marketer who understood marketing at this new level we were at as an organization. That's where Ryan comes in, our current head of marketing. He's been able to come into marketing, have eyes on everything that we needed inside that team, and has done such great work that as CEO, I no longer feel the need or the desire to step into the details of marketing because we've built that trust. I know he has the expertise and skills, and he's the guy for the job. And I think when you hire the right person to do the right job, it frees you as CEO. You get to sit back into your CEO seat and not find yourself stepping down and micromanaging different parts of the organization that, transparently, you shouldn't be. Next, I built and protected systems that don't depend on me. Systems aren't just structure, they are strategy. And the best ones, they don't depend on me. We've built appropriate, repeatable processes that everyone can follow every day. And we're not managing to exceptions, we're managing to the rules. And exceptions, they're rare. They're designed to escalate when needed, but for everyone else. We've built enough clarity and guardrails for the team to move inside the systems. We even created thresholds, like if a client is dissatisfied, we define exactly what kind of solution someone on the team can offer without it going up to management. If it's under a certain dollar amount, if it's inside of our core values, they can handle it. That is the point of the systems. It gives people autonomy without requiring your approval every single time. Because when the rules are clear, you don't need to hover. So now I ask regularly, does anyone know what to do? Who owns it, and when it is due? And if the answer is no, that's not a person problem, that's a system problem. And those systems start with us as leaders, and we must model them. We were on a girls' trip, it was me and my daughters, and one morning I was up at 7 in the morning answering emails while they were still asleep. And by the time they rolled out of bed, ready to hit the beach, I was still glued to my inbox. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't just working, I was addicted. Addicted to feeling needed, addicted to control, addicted to the rush of an empty inbox. And in that moment, I realized I needed a system in place that would keep me out of my email so I could be fully present where it mattered most. From there, I made it my absolute mission to offload email entirely and built the system I needed around it. Now PTO feels like actual time off. No inbox, no overwhelm. Cameron and I use a simple 3-folder system to manage my email while I'm out. We have a read folder where emails I need to review personally. We have a done folder, which is the summary of all the things that she's handled. And we have a Cameron folder, which is a folder that says she's handled it. Additionally, my inbox is paused during PTO to hold me completely accountable to keep me out of my email. And I remove all Gmail notifications from my phone. Yes, you might even need to delete email from your phone to start, which is where I had to start. Also, Cameron creates an amazing PTO recap document, so when I return, I'm informed and I am not overloaded. This system is simple, effective, and lets me truly disconnect. Letting go of control was uncomfortable, but it gave me back margin, clarity, leadership. The business kept growing without me in the middle. And if you're still holding it all, and you don't have to, start with one shift. Download my free guide, Delegate to Elevate. It'll help you spot what you're still carrying, name what someone else can own, and build the kind of structure that gives you your time back. The link's below, and if this resonates, subscribe for more practical ways to lead with clarity without losing yourself in the process. Let's build something sustainable. Let's build something that doesn't just grow, it frees you.